We are fortunate to be here in this wonderful country, in this wonderful state, and this beautiful place right here, this Budja. We were saying today we had a wonderful day hearing about many really positive Landcare stories, and I thank everybody who was here, who presented today, because it makes a real difference when you celebrate the good things. It produces a real sense of possibility and of hope, and we spoke quite a lot about hope. So thank you for joining us tonight to celebrate, and how important it is to celebrate. And we quite often miss out this critical step of the work that we do because we're so busy to jump onto the next thing that we forget to take pause. So tonight is taking pause together. How many of you have travelled more than a couple of hours to get here? Just pop up your hands. Thanks very much for doing that. It really makes a difference to have people coming from our regions because we are a big state, and it's important that we celebrate everybody everywhere. I'm really privileged to introduce Noongar Elder Uncle Nev Collard, who's going to be doing our welcome to country tonight.
Thank you, my dear. Thank you. No, we've had a pretty good day today. I've been fortunate to sit here most of the day. Where are you, Mick? Oh, with Mick and all the rest of the crew from the NRM and all the friends groups. And now I notice we've got a few Noongars come in the door. They know when to come along, eh? Get a good feed. Yep. And it's a fabulous night. And already someone was telling me there's an eclipse happening at the moment, but it's hidden behind the trees over there. And it's once again a fabulous place to hold a function, I think, here at Jorgensen Reserve and to the community centre. And I know it's only a recent one, and we saw the old one out and the new one in, so we've done pretty good, haven't we, Nick? Yeah. So I'd like to welcome you all here this evening to the awards night. We had all the fun and games today. We ate all the cream cakes and had morning tea this morning. So we now left the dregs for you, mob. But we've had a wonderful day. And I think in particular the young ladies who've been around doing the catering, they've done a wonderful job looking after us and giving us soft drinks and some morning tea and cup of tea and coffee. So we've done pretty good. But once again, the awards night, it doesn't seem that long ago, does it, Mick, that we were up here? I think it was, we had someone on Zoom. What's his name, the big bloke with the beard? Costa. Yeah. And boy, I tell you what, he's a bit of a character. So yeah, we had a wonderful night, and Costa was here, and COVID had us locked in, I think, but we all sort of got away a bit from Chris Dawson. So, but anyway, we're all here, and I think that we're going to survive. What do you reckon, Carl? We'll be right? Righto. I notice he's got a good job now. He's working with with the NRM. So there's plenty of life after the police force, isn't there? Yeah. But it's good to see you all here, and my old boss there. So I think in our jobs I parted ways with the police a fair while ago, but still got a lot of mates here, and catch up for a yarn and a wongi every now and again. So tonight I've got a few Noongar rallies here tonight. They come from up the road here at the Guggulmut there at Northam. And Carol, where do I find you nowadays? Stephen? And Dave? I think Dave's down the hill there too. Yeah. You like, I love coming to Mangy, here to Kalamunda. I've been coming here for as long as I can ever remember. And I remember driving down Brookton Highway when it was a gravel road. And Dad had an old Chev 6. And there's only a few kids then, but we'd be in the back of the old ute. And we'd be covered over with our big wagga bag, because that was the only thing that kept the wind out. And when we got to Christmas Tree Well, we always camped at Christmas Tree Well, because that was where the Noongas all camped. There's plenty of water there, and the water hole's still there. Although DBCA tried to destroy it a couple of times by fiddling with it instead of leaving it. But it's a good water hole there. And early in the morning we'd get up and we'd come down and we'd find somewhere to live down here at Horton Road, because there's a big water spout there where we got fresh water, and the Noongas were allowed to stay there. And if we didn't stay there, we'd go and stay at Martagurrup at the Harrison Island Bridge there that Herbie Brofo discovered about 50 years after our family first camped there. But we had good camping places everywhere. And you know why? The reason why we come down from Brookton? To go to the Railway Stakes and the Perth Cup. So the oldies would be looking for somewhere safe for us to go and stay, and it was good going down to Martagurrup there at Harrison Island, because we can get on the bus, go into Bones. Remember Bones with Uncle Fred and Joey? And go and then get a good feed, because one of our old Wudgula friends from Brookton was the cook there. So we always got a good feed and looked after, and it cost us about a penny, I think. So we had wonderful time coming down through the old hills there. And my old Pop Tom, old Yellowkitch, he'd often say, I graded this road. And when we got to Edison Mill Road, he said, I graded that road from virgin bush. And he said, if you want to know why there's a lot of twists and turns in it, I said, yes, there is. He said, that was me dodging all the scarred trees. Yeah, from Christmas Tree Well all the way up there. Because that was the way the Noongas walked. They followed that wetland, the creek bed that's sort of an underground creek, going all the way up through there. And I went up there one day and we counted about 32 trees that he dodged. And they're still there. They were the old Maya trees, which they'd carve the bark off and make their their hut at night. There was no mattresses there. They just dig the sand up and make it a bit soft, but I think there's more gravel stones up there than sand. So we never had much of a sleep. But Kalamunda was always our aim. And then during the day they could go to the races down Ascot, and we'd hang around Kalamunda or get on the bus and go into Perth or Midland. So we had good times growing up around here. And I remember the old mission lady, I think her name was Mrs. Forrest, and they lived just up the road there, and they used to take us in and look after us during the day, so we had a fabulous time. But here I am with all the mates and that, all my new friends here at the Landcare Awards. And I know we wouldn't be if you weren't all passionate about the Landcare and the trees, whatever grows there. I mean, it's one of the most important things, eh? As I tell the crew this morning, when we cleared the last 105 acres at Thornton Park there at Colin Young's farm, my old pop said to me, Neville, this will be the last clearing we'll ever do. And then in about 20 years' time, he says, you can start planting them all back in. And he was right. He was right. I think they started planting the trees back a bit earlier. But it was fabulous because I said, look at all those big trees, the white gums, the Maoris, the jarrahs that grew up there. They must have been 400 or 500 years old. And we'd cut them down we never had chainsaws then, we'd cut them down with a big bow saw. And the oldies would be on there. And then they'd cut it down, then they'd burn it. what the point was cutting down the tree for burning it. And then when I was down Albany, I seen them do the main roads there, and all the carries they bulldozed down. They were 20, 30, 40 metre high trees. And they just pushed them down with a D9, and then they just crushed them up, or they rolled the rollers there. And that was, when I was down in the 90s down Albany. And it was pretty tragic, because there's one thing that I used to love was looking at those big trees through Pemberton, Mount Barker, and all through the southwest there in where's Wayne Webb? Down his country down there. Because he claimed Denmark, No, not Denmark. Walpole, he claims. Walpole, him and Tony. And whenever I wanted a cup of tea, I'd have to drive all the way to Walpole for a cup of tea off him and Tony. And but good friends, and they're still hanging around. And I think that's so important. But anyway, I think I've said enough. Kaya, kaya, kaya. Kaya. I like to say that because that's the true Noongar welcome. The word kaya is when the Noongars welcomed Captain Fremantle, Governor Stirling and his 3 ships as they sailed in through the pass at Rottnest Island. Then the Parmelia run aground for 3 days, and the Noongars were looking to see what was going to happen. Then the tide rose and they sailed down to the mouth of the river. And the Noongars were there to welcome ashore, take them to the waterhole, and they went like this, and they shook hands to the Wadjulas, put their spear and boomerang on the ground, and said, Kaya, Kaya, Kaya. And the Noongars was European because the Wadjulas was calling, and Balapan Jinung the Wadjula, and Balapan was wearing because Balap Jinung and said they're Kulungas. The wearing of their Kulungas was calling back to the Karluk of the Noongar. And then Balapan calling on the Swan River on the Derbil, and they wanging and they Jinung and they calling up here to Kalamunda, out to Mora, Joondalup, down to Mandurri and Pinjarrup. And the Noongars was just European, that Balapan calling Nitcha. And the Wadjula, when the Noongar said Kaya, they all thought they were going to die. They thought that the Noongars were going to kill them and spear them. But later on, when they talked to each other, they found that the Noongars were welcoming them to our land. And I think it's been a pretty steady journey over our lifetime, but our people, we've been coping. I think the Noongars are pretty hardy people, and we were able to hold our own and then still go ahead here as the Wadjulas came in and moved in and into the lands. Because we was the oldest nation on the planet, and we were the last to be discovered. And I think that the Noongars didn't want to be discovered because we were still making the really good spearheads out of kangaroo gunner, charcoal and black boy. That's right, Mick. We made a few. And they were still using the rocks in the ages of the rock ages. And they were making good stone axes, spearheads. And then when they opened the prison at Rottnest, the old men moved another step and they started using the glass to manufacture the spearheads with the glass that the early settlers were throwing away. And recently we went over there and did a lot of surveys, and we found some of the most magnificent spearheads that the anthropologists and the archaeologists had ever seen. And the anthro and the archaeologists, they'd been working all around Europe and back, and they both said the artefacts were the best they'd ever seen in the world. And our people could come in from using quartz, from using blue granite, limestone, and then they could pick up their tools and make the most fantastic spearheads out of glass. I'll tell you what, they weren't made to injure, they were meant to kill. And so they learned very quickly how to manufacture the good spears and the axes. So I'd like to welcome you all here for the award night, and I hope that you all go home with an award. If you don't, I see some really nice trees and flowers on the side there. And before I leave, I'd just like to say and give a blessing to you all. Te ngan wanging te muritwir and te kuli nichida Kalamanda te Jorgensen. Jinung nunuk, wanging nunuk and kuling with nunuk. As nunuk the kuling into the burda on the Nunga Buja. I ask the good spirit to come, walk with you, talk with you, and look after you as you travel into the future and on your way home on the Noongar country. Thank you very much, and thanks. It was lovely to see my mob up here and Wayne and all the rest of the Noongars, and I just hope you have a great night. Mick, to you and your committee and all the awards and the winners, have a good night. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Uncle Nev. Uncle Nev's really setting the scene, which is also that the night's about yarning. This is about really celebrating and about talking together. So make sure that you find people that you haven't met before, because this is your opportunity. You know, go and talk to them and let them know how impressed you are about the things that they're doing. Ask them what they're doing. It's a night for expanding the circles that we work with, that we know, and that we appreciate. And because we need everybody, every single person who's in this room. And so thanks for making it, and make sure that you make the most of it for both you and for all of us, because that's what it's going to take. Couple of housekeeping things. The toilets, if you need them, going out the double doors around the corner and to the left again, they're really excellent. The phones, just make sure you've got control of your phone and your phone's not controlling you. That would be really terrific. In case of an emergency, please take the lead from one of the Waln team. Waln team, do you want to shake up your hands so people know who's actually been really working and sweating over today and tonight? And they'll be the first in emergency to be out the door and up to the car park, which is the muster point. But seriously, you know, in an emergency, I've always thought, gee, it's a good idea for us to talk about it, because in an emergency, I think we all turn into a bunch of chickens. So I think it's really good just to mention that right at the outset. While we've been out enjoying the beautiful deck and the natural environment, and it's really terrific for us to be able to come to a venue like this. It's so appropriate really for Landcare, for us to be able to come together. We've been also listening to the terrific music from Ute Nomad, and we're going to have a lot more from them. They come from Margaret River, and it's terrific to bring them in from the regions too. So can we just show our appreciation for the musicians? So why don't you make yourself known to Anu Grace and Laurie Bycroft too, because they are really deeply also committed to Landcare. So thank you for your contribution. I'd like to welcome our all of you as special guests, and we're also really pleased to have the Honourable Darren West, the member for Agricultural Region. Do you want to put up your hand too? There we go. So make yourself known to him, you know, it's always an opportunity, isn't it? You can spruik about how terrific you are, you know, that sort of thing. It's also really great to have UWA Professor Lynette Abbott here, and she was the 2021 recipient of the inaugural General Jeffrey Soil Health Award at the 2020 National Landcare Awards. So that's our own Lynette. I wanted to make special mention of the First Nation elders that we've got here, and we heard from some of them, and also the emerging young leaders, Noongar leaders today, and it's terrific to have others of you here. Wanted to make special mention of that because it's just so rewarding and enriching for all of us. So thank you for being here and for all of the efforts that you're making. So 2021, the awards profile individuals and groups from urban and rural communities who are working together to care for our coasts and our country. We had 27 nominations received for the 8 categories, and they honour the contributions of community groups, of schools, of organisations, Indigenous land managers and individuals from across WA. There are programs on your tables that guide you through the awards. Do take them home with you. It's important to acknowledge the many sponsors who've made tonight possible. And I want to particularly mention Landcare Australia, the Australian Government, Kpmg, Woolworths, Steadfast, who do insurance if you want to just look them up, and the Australian Community Media, along with WA Department of Primary Industry and Regional Development, the Office of the State NRM, who partnered and supported WA Landcare Network to host the awards this year. Their support has made the night possible, so many thanks. And if we can just give them a hand, a rousing hand. There's also important event sponsors who also deserve warm thanks, including the City of Kalamunda, who subsidised our use of this beautiful venue, Plant Right Nursery, who provided all the lovely plants, and also the flowers that are gracing each of the tables. And we've also the wine. Has anyone had a glass of wine? Nobody has? Oh, that's a shame. The lovely wine has been a sponsorship from Southwest Wineries, including Fifth Estate Harvey, Capel Vale Winery, Capel, and the Ferguson Valley, Green Door Wines, Hackersley Estate and St Aidan's. Aren't they great? You know, it's a real commitment. A huge thanks goes to those who've had a big task of being our wonderful volunteer WA Landcare Awards judging panel. They've had to go reading through all of the applications and make those decisions, which is not easy because in the end, each one of you in this room deserves an award. That's how I feel, and I'm sure all of those judges felt that too. So the judges included John Holly, who's unfortunately unwell and unable to be here tonight and sent his apologies, Rhonda Williams, Damien Hills, Monica Durkin, Bruce Ivers, Chris Lukes, Damien Postma, Deb Slater-Lee, Joe Woodbridge, Nerily Boshamer-Bennell, Bella Bergmeister and Caroline Hughes. Can you all just pop up your hands just so we can see who you are? Terrific. They willingly took on this role because they are enormously experienced and they're long-term land and coast carers. So we've got a lot to thank. People who join the Mort, the Landcare Mort or family, and they just continue that commitment. Why wouldn't you? That's what I think. Why wouldn't you? Also, I'd like to appreciate our sponsor judges, Anthea Halliday from Woolworths, Jodie Levitsky from Steadfast and Trevor Emery from the Australian Community Media. Now, you will notice that we do have a roving photographer, Ryan Amo. Where are you? At the back there? Please let us know if you prefer not to have your photo taken or published. In fact, if you can let him know directly, that would make sense. I'd like now to invite the the Honourable Darren West, MLC, Member for the Agricultural Region, to give the official award opening. We know Landcare is close to your heart, Darren, and we appreciate your support and your presence here tonight in lieu of Alana McTiernan. So over to you.
Thanks very much, Louise, and it is indeed an honour to be here, and I do enjoy representing Alana. She does send her apologies tonight. She really did want to come. She's been invited to a wedding, as she seems to most weekends, and she's a very popular person, and she really did want to come along tonight. So, but my claim to fame in the Parliament is the only working farmer in the Parliament, and it's not entirely true, but it's true enough for me. And I think as far, well, there's another few people claiming my turf, but I do really appreciate coming along tonight, and obviously a lot of familiar faces here and people that we've worked with in the past and want to continue. But of course, the night is not about us as a state government. We are delighted to get around the WA Landcare network and support initiatives such as these awards, and of course some of the great work you do. But I did just want to come along and just share a few things with you, and I had some prepared notes that Alana did ask me that I would assure her that I would read, but in true style they're in my pocket, and I'm not going to read from them because I've completely changed the tack of the speech that I was going to give after listening to Neville before. And I think it dawned on me during that speech that the white fellas are starting to work it out, aren't they? You know, the white fellas are starting to figure it out. And we've had the oldest continuous living civilization in the world caring for this very fragile but magnificent country for thousands and thousands of years. And then we saw down those big old trees with a bow saw and burn them. And I think now we realise that actually wasn't such a great idea, and that we need to now make amends. And I guess that's where most of us in this room tonight are at. So I do want to thank Neville for completely changing the focus of my talk tonight. And I do want to thank him very much for the welcome to this magnificent country, and pay my respects to the traditional owners of this land and to their elders, past, present and emerging, and to all of the lands of which we come from tonight, because I know some people have come quite a long way tonight. Always was, always will be. And as I said before, I think we're starting to figure it out, that caring for our land is perhaps the most important thing that we can do, because when you work with the land and you work with the soil as I do, you appreciate it and you understand, sometimes not always in a good way, what it actually is that we've done. And Minister is of the same view, and getting back to the soil, getting back to what it is that sustains us, getting back to what it is that gives us life, is very important. And she's had some deep critics, including over the last few weeks, about challenging that notion that chemicals and yield and all those are the most important things, where, as I think we all know, that if we care for our land, the land will care for us. So she's really had a strong focus on regenerative agriculture, and I think the people... I'll tell you this story. We went to the Darren Field Days the first year that we came to government in 2017, and the tradition is that the Minister for Agriculture opens the Darren Field Days. And for the first time since I can remember, that invitation wasn't extended. And Minister was a little bit disappointed, to say the least. I won't tell you the exact language that she used, but I sort of got the impression that she sort of felt that wasn't a particularly, something she was very happy about. But on that same day, Minister launched a WA Regenerative Agriculture initiative, and I went along to the opening, because there's no way Minister was going to the opening if she wasn't opening the field days. And I counted, there was 38 people at the opening, and the formalities were done. I don't actually remember who opened the field days, so that didn't really matter. But the formal opening was done, and everyone was happy, and we clapped. Then about an hour and a half later, I went over to the Minister's function, And Alana had this tent that was bulging at the seams. There was 300 or 400 people. Some of you may have been there. And it showed me that there are a lot of people who are prepared to actually back this. And I note that every time we've held a Regen Ag function since, there's more and more new people every time, and people are coming to have a look. And I think we're getting back to basics and really putting that focus back on the soil. So Neville, thanks for completely changing the focus of my speech, but I do think it's important that as government we recognise this. It is a very difficult job being in government, especially at the moment. But I think going back to basics, we've all realised over the last couple of years is really important. And when life itself is threatened, that you actually change your focus, and you as the line out of the Neil Young songs, the Bruce Springsteen song says, all the things that used to seem so important, they vanished right into thin air. And that's what's happened a little bit to us over the last couple of years, and now we know what's really important. So thanks for the opportunity to come along tonight. I deliberately haven't acknowledged the distinguished guests because I think everybody in this room is a distinguished guest. We all know who the distinguished guests are, and everybody involved in the Landcare movement. Thanks very much for your efforts. Most of it is voluntary. Most of it is done out of care for the land on which we live, and we are learning a thing or two from those that came before us. So I wish all the nominees well. Congratulate all the winners in advance. I think we're up for a pretty good night. I know you've had a pretty successful day, but yeah, we can all do this together, and it's a great honour to be with you tonight. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Darren. That was excellent. Thank you very much. Thanks, Darren. I think that just indicates that long-term commitment to Landcare, and we really thank you deeply. It's very appropriate that the first award tonight is the Kpmg Indigenous Land Management Award. This award acknowledges an outstanding Indigenous community group or individual who's working towards improving land use and or enhancing or protecting an area on behalf of the community. As Kpmg is unable to be with us here tonight, it gives me great pleasure to invite Keith Bradby, OAM, Deputy Chair of the National Landcare Network and CEO of Gondwana Link, to present our first award.
Thanks, Louise. I don't know if I can follow those two, but and I think Carolyn said 10 minutes. It wasn't one, was it? I just wanted to very quickly. There's a heart attack happening there. Reflect on the age of Landcare. I mean, it's a great debate we have nationally, and we try and trump the Victorians. But I reckon I was there. It was called something different, and what we now call Landcare is about 37 years old in WA, and we should be very proud of that. I know there's some people who think, yeah, no, sorry, I thought it was 60, 70,000 years old. It was called something different in the beginning then too. And I want to share two other thoughts actually, but the next one is that I talked to a conference up here in Perth recently, and I was doing an acknowledgement of being on Whadjuk country, and I looked across, there was one of my favourite elders, and I thought, oh yeah, and look, it's great to just want to acknowledge we work with those guys and won't leave anyone else we also work with. And I ended up naming 12 significant First Nations groups that are now actively managing land. And 15 years ago, none of them existed. 10 years ago, only a few existed. 5 years ago, most of them existed. And I think the formal Wadjula-initiated Landcare movement is very privileged to be able to support the growth, the regrowth of Noongar land management, Aboriginal land management in Western Australia. And I think we have one great thing in common. We are moving on. You're worried about 2029, I'm thinking about 3039. You know, when we look back in history at this time, I think this is when we both, when white people started moving away from that exploitative colonialist approach to land and started thinking about care. And it is, in my view, a really historic time in the history of our state. I better also quickly add that during the course of today, totally unrelated to the awards, I've been hearing great things about both our finalists here tonight. The wheat belt guys, I had Adam Cross in my ear and it's still bleeding a little bit, but he's really appreciated, I bet yours have a bit too, really appreciated being out there with you just in the last 6 months and working together and just telling some great stories about what you're doing. And I think Tony and Wayne are here from Untitled, and again, what a great rising up we're seeing in that part of the world. Was that all? Oh, I had to announce the winners. I hate football. You know why I hate football? Because I really want to see a game where both sides win. And I think Landcare should aspire to that as well. But tonight, we're here to announce that the winners of the 2021, what's it called? The National... The Kpmg Indigenous Land Management Award is Untitled. Thank you.
Now we give them...
Come on, Dr. Wayne. Keep clapping, this could take a while. Oh, we'll hold it through. That's nice.
I know where you live, so don't worry. Both ears. Yeah, I'd like to thank everyone that's been involved in the Landcare Awards. And we started off doing it pretty hard and we're still doing it pretty hard. We self-fund. We go out and work and stuff, and we put the money into our organisation to actually do the land care and stuff like that, and re-vegging the country and just generally looking after the country. And with Greening Australia, we actually got all the young people out to actually go out and collect seeds and all the rest of it. So they got the Cert 2s in conservation and land management now and stuff. So it's actually getting all the young ones. And we started off a few years back, and when these young people graduated, we actually taught them at our surf academy. So we actually take them into surf academy, teach them their culture, and then the ones that want to keep going on with us, they come on and be rangers, and the other ones go off to uni. 7 graduates last year, the top 7 graduates at the Boston High School, 6 of them were Indigenous students, and they came through our surf academy and teaching them on country about culture and everything. So we're working towards getting the younger generations, and then they can become like Zach, an older person doing it. So Zach's our son, so he actually does most of the work and teaching, but he had to start somewhere, I suppose. Yeah, so thank you again for the award. Great. Thank you. Yep.
The next award is the Australian Government Landcare Farming Award. This award acknowledges an individual, group, network or organisation that has demonstrated excellence and leadership in implementing sustainable and integrated land management practices on a farm property or properties that protect soils, water, vegetation and biodiversity. Representatives from the Australian Government were unable to be with us tonight due to border restrictions, and it gives me great pleasure to invite Cecilia McConnell, Commissioner for Soil and Land Conservation at the Department of Primary Industry and Regional Development, to present this award.
thank you all for having me here tonight. It's been really lovely to see faces I haven't seen for a long time, but some Wheatbelt people down the back there, Monica, and people I see quite regularly, so it's a really nice mix of people. Look, I'm going to read mine because I've got notes that I would like to be able to say to you and not forget. But Australian Landcare farmers have had a long and proud history of achieving exceptional landcare outcomes in environmental stewardship, innovative land management practices, and validating new research improves farm productivity and protects the health of our soil, our water, and our biodiversity. The nominees for this award have shown their passion and their commitment for the environment and understanding how our natural resources underpin ongoing agricultural production. The two are not separate goals, but they're innately linked. We know that a focus on the health of our soils and water are a key part of our farming and pastoral enterprises and will result in that best long-term capability and capacity for agricultural production. Landcarers have known this for a long time. But we're in a new age where the world is catching up and starting to demand that as producers and land managers, we demonstrate how we manage our natural resources. In the ag industry, demonstrating the E of our ESG credentials is going to underpin our long-term production. It will enable us to access markets both at home and globally. These market drivers are seeking to achieve those environmental outcomes that landcarers have been focusing on since before the decade of Landcare, Keith. It's an exciting time to be a landcarer in agriculture. The world is changing. So tonight, I've got lots of pleasure in presenting the Australian Government Landcare Farming Award. There were 4 nominations, and the finalists, as you can see, are Scott Newby from Carangvale Farm in Broome Hill, and Sylvia Layton and Peter Mackenzie from William Poole's Farm in the Wellstead district. Scott is a young, do you all know Scott? Young and innovative and respected farmer whose on-farm practices, involvement in research and volunteerism with Katanning Landcare make him a true Landcare champion. Great photo. Well done, Scott. And Sylvia and Peter are dedicated to the balance between farming and conservation and sharing discoveries. William Poole's farm has been transformed, testament to their vision. And tonight, I'd like to congratulate Sylvia and Peter on winning the Australian Government Landcare Farming Award.
Thank you so very much for this award. We feel so honoured and privileged and overwhelmed to receive it. I suppose 60% of the land across Australia is managed by farmers or pastoralists. So the way they manage the land is going to make a huge impact in the future. And Peter and I only came back to farming 7 years ago. But there's no way we were returning back to the land to do what had been done there before. So with all the support of all the land carers that we've known in the past, anybody who's worked in conservation, we have this huge network, as all of you do. There's so many people in this room that we know, faces that we've known from the past. So with all your support, we're going forth and trying to design a farm which we hope will be a stepping stone towards something very different into the future. And you can feel it coming, you can feel something really different coming, and sometimes it makes us really scared. And I have felt a lot of environmental grief this year. You drive up through the Wheatbelt area and it just breaks your heart. But we know it's going to change. It's when is it going to change? And hurry up. we're sort of teetering in this middle space, and sometimes it really hurts. So thank you to everybody for all your support. We're overwhelmed, and it's amazing.
Change is coming. You can feel it in the air. We talked a lot today about young people and just our responsibility for working really hard to give as much opportunities we can for the young people and for them to be really assisted to step up and be engaged, because they are absolutely the key for all of us going forward. So the next award is absolutely crucial. It's the Woolworths Junior Landcare Team Award. The award acknowledges a school, youth organisation or young community landcare team that contributes to raising awareness, sharing knowledge and promoting participation of landcare amongst young people. It's, as I say, is a special award. We all understand the enormous value of encouraging and aiding young people to join the landcare movement as soon as possible. I'd now like to welcome to stage Anthea Halliday, State Marketing Manager from Woolworths Supermarkets, to present this award.
Thank you, Louise. I've got notes, but they're all scribbled on. That seems to be the mode of tonight. So hopefully I remember to cover everything. It is my absolute honour to represent Woolworths here this evening, and we're such a short way into it, but it's certainly been so inspiring so far, and the energy and the people in the room and all you're doing, I think, deserves to be commended. What did we say? Everyone should get an award. I agree. The efforts of all nominees deserve these accolades, and your efforts to make a difference rightly deserve our thanks and appreciation. Woolworths is certainly proud to support this award category, and you may not know that today's winner will also represent our state in the 2022 National Landcare Awards. As Louise has said, the Woolworths Junior Landcare Team Award acknowledges a school, youth organisation or young community landcare team that contributes to raising awareness, sharing knowledge and promoting participation of landcare amongst young people, which I think we all agree is crucial. 2 nominations were received in this category this year, and I suspect a sign of COVID times. So I'm putting the challenge out to all of you to help us rally more nominations next time, because I suspect that there is actually a lot more junior groups out there doing amazing things. Following the judging, the finalist is Forest Crescent Primary School, and I believe we have some slides. Forest Crescent Primary School students work together to help coastal and rural communities to rehabilitate ecosystems in consultation with experts, landowners and Noongar people. It certainly was inspiring reading everything that Forest Crescent Primary School has been getting up to. And it is my absolute honour to congratulate the winner of the 2021 Woolworths Junior Landcare Team Award, Forest Crescent Primary School.
We would like to accept the Woolworths Junior Landcare Team Awards on behalf of our school, Forest Crescent Primary School. It's been a privilege for our school to be able to have been involved in a few authentic learning experiences. Our Year 4 students helped revegetate the lake system in Blue Gum Lake, Burragoon earlier this year. And last term, our Year 6 students were grateful for the opportunity to reduce the salinity on the Gentles farm just outside York and help the environment.
We are so thankful that we have been able to learn about the environment and how to take care of it as a part of our school sustainability projects. A big thanks to South East Regional Centre Urban Landcare, the Rotary Club of Melville, the Gentle family, and of course Mr. Ivers from Trees for Australia, who assisted with the organisation of our tree planting programs. As a result, Forest Crescent has been able to plant just under 8,000 trees in 2021, something we feel proud of. Thank you.
Woohoo! Good on them. This is the yarning, this is the storytelling where we actually hear about the good things, and it's so important for us to share them and to gather both the ideas from other people and the inspiration, the hope, and to go out and just repeat it and escalate it. But right now, you've got the opportunity to do some more networking because the buffet main meal is now being served in the green room. The green room is the room out through the double doors and straight across to the right. You will note that there are gluten-free, vegetarian and vegan options for those who've identified those preferences. There are designated meals for people who are celiac because it's so important for them. Feel free to mingle and enjoy the deck or anywhere else that you wish to go. Change seats, network. Make sure that you meet somebody that you've never met before and catch up with old friends, of course, and enjoy the lovely selection of wines and drinks available at the bar. Please do make your way to the buffet, and we're going to be welcoming back Ute Nomads. So enjoy, and we'll be doing this for 45 minutes. Hello, everybody. Let's give a warm round of applause to Ute Nomad. Welcome back, everyone. Thanks to Creative Catering for feeding us, giving us a good feed, as Uncle Nev would say. We're now moving into the second part of tonight's ceremony of celebration. And hopefully that you've all met somebody that you didn't know before. You'll still have opportunity to get to know somebody else as well. Like to acknowledge all of the people who have submitted applications. We know that it takes time to do that. And it is deeply rewarding for those who do get that recognition. I think that it's well known in terms of behaviour change that people actually respond much more positively to reward than to punishment. So I think that we're here tonight really all about rewards. So thanks for those who've put together those applications. It means a lot, and we're hoping to get a flood of them for the next one, so that we have a venue that's twice as big, because we've got so many people that we just want to be recognising and putting up slides and sharing those stories. This is about seeing that change is possible. Our next award is the Australian Government Partnerships for Landcare Award. It acknowledges a partnership of individuals, groups, networks or organisations that have demonstrated leadership and achievement in Landcare-related activities as a result of being in a partnership. I'd like to welcome Mick Davis, Chair of the WA Landcare Network, to present this next award.
Thanks very much, everybody. I'll just sort these out. So the Australian The awards acknowledge a partnership of individuals, groups, networks or organisations that has demonstrated leadership and achievement in Landcare. Related activities in a partnership way. I think for me this is an opportunity to acknowledge partnerships in everything. The way in the past we had partnerships to get together, partnerships maybe based on economic grounds or to achieve targets which may not have been so broad. Today we are seeing partnerships being formed right now. We're seeing people having conversations, planning what they're going to do into the future. And in the future, I think the partnerships that we're going to need are going to be with people, with individuals and groups, and simple things. I'm even, Lynn, going to say partnerships between fungi and bacteria and the soil. Like, that's exciting stuff, but we can't do it on our own. We have to partner with our community, right? So partnerships are out there. I have 2 partnership nominations. We had 2 nominations for partnerships. The finalists were Moore Catchment Council and Ewart Community of Moora. I would like to announce the winner as the Moore Catchment and Ewart Community.
Woohoo! Somebody going to say a couple of words?
Yep, please do.
Okay, thank you very much to the Australian Government for our partnership Landcare Award. For those that don't know, this is National Agricultural Day. And without agriculture and Landcare, you know, it wouldn't be so exciting, I don't think. But look, partnerships, our partnership is with the Ewart, the Noongar boys around Moora, and the main driver of that is Freddie Mogridge. He's done a sterling job up there, getting these guys to come out and pick seeds and to get things moving, and with the help of Rachel and Helen and Sarah as part of our committee, we've got this job done. So to me, Landcare is about stories. I'm just going to hold it for 2 minutes here. Landcare is about stories and people, okay? Now that's what we've got in this room tonight, and I think it's great to see so many people. The story I want to tell you is, with these boys, 80% of them now have jobs from that work. They were able to get a resume to get a real job. So to me, this has been a great story, a real success for our group, and yeah, thanks very much.
Great.
Hey, one last thing. I just want to acknowledge Fred. He couldn't be here tonight. He'd love to be here, but here we are. Here's your short story.
Thank you.
Well, it's fulfilling to know that we're doing something for country, taking care of country and giving our members of the community a little bit of work. And it's not hard work, something that we can get out in the bush, fresh air, meet people on the farm, and have a good yarn, and work with Rachel. Got to work with Rachel, got to put that one, she's our #1 person. But it's a good thing, you know, and it pays. The pay's not too bad. Could go a little bit better. But yeah, no, just getting out, having a yarn with the mob, and getting them interested in looking after the country as well. That's the main aim, caring for our country. Trying to revitalise our river system. Because as we look around at our rivers, they're so sad. They look so sad, our rivers. We've got no fish in them, and this is what we do. If we can stabilise our rivers and sit them.
Great. Yep, caring for country, caring for people, they go together, hand and glove. Our next award is the Coast Care Award. This award acknowledges a community group or network that has contributed to the significant improvement of a coastal or marine environment. That might include estuaries, coastal and marine wetlands, river systems and salt marsh ecosystems. The coastal area landscapes are so important to all of us in all sorts of ways, and we're very conscious that it has been very difficult for the coast care communities to work with a really a diminished amount of funding support, which we are all working really hard to try and reinstate, because it is actually one of the areas that's most affected by the changing climate. And it's also the most heavily used by all of us. We love our coastal areas, and sometimes we can be damaging it through our great affection. So the affection needs to be through care, and we need some more support to do so. So we're working with the state government and the Commonwealth government to really try to restore some of those funds. I'd like to welcome back the Honourable Darren West to present this award and also the next award, which I'll describe shortly. Over to you, Darren.
Thanks again, Louise. And also pay respects to Fred Mogridge. What a great man, and has done some terrific work for Uwd people. And I just love those sort of stories. And our Ranger program that we started 4 years ago really does fill many of us with joy to see, you know, something we probably should have thought of a long time. Who would have thought having young Uwd kids caring for country? But we've done it, and it is providing real opportunities for those that need them. But we're talking about coast care, 20,000 kilometres of coast, I think, roughly in Western Australia. I think that's right. And I've had, I see there's 3 nominations for the award. So I think we can do a bit better than that next year, everyone, when we hold the awards at Optus Stadium, because we're going to have them at a larger venue next year, apparently. Yeah, that magnificent Optus Stadium. And apologies to Telstra for mentioning Optus. But there are 3 awards, and look, it is very important, as Louise said, that interface between humans and the coast. Most of it live within an hour's drive of it or closer. We have, when plastic ends up in the ocean, it has implications for people thousands of kilometres away, and marine life and all of those things. So very important award, this one. There's 3 finalists. The 2 finalists are the Busselton Jetty Incorporated, as you can see, and Cambridge Coast Care. I think we're going to have some slides. It's the best jetty in Busselton. And of course, Cambridge Coast Care in the metro area. Some great work. The winner is Busselton Jetty. I insist. Yeah. On the other side, please. Boy, girl. Okay, ready. Hold it there. One more. Well, that's a good one.
We say seaweed.
Would one of you like to say a couple of words?
Just quickly. Thank you so much. I actually am quite shocked. I did not think that we would walk out with a trophy tonight. So thank you for welcoming us into the Landcare community. The jetty obviously has been in Busselton for over 150 years, but it's really just been in recent years, the last few years, that we have moved into marine conservation, because myself and our board and the community behind us really do realise the importance of the environment beneath the jetty and in Geograph Bay. So we're definitely trying to inspire not just visitors, but getting out to our schools as well to bring forward a new generation of little coast carers behind us as well. So thank you so much.
every part of the coast and the marine environment, of course, is part of Landcare. You know, so Landcare is about caring for all aspects of our environment. The next, we have the Steadfast Youth Young Landcare Leadership Award. The award acknowledges an individual or a youth group between the ages of 15 and 35 who... That's good, isn't it? 15 and 35.
Just sneak in.
Oh, you do too, Darren. Yeah, we all sneak in. Who promote excellence in Landcare through on-ground projects and or awareness-raising activities. It's the future of Landcare, and it's really inspiring, as you have been inspired tonight by so many of the young people who are doing the work, and same with today, and talking about how it affects them and how engaged they are. So our future really is in those young people. As Steadfast is unable to be here, Darren's going to present this award, and in this category we have both a winner and a highly commended, as our judges were not able to really decide between two remarkable young Landcare leaders. Over to you, Darren.
Thanks, Louise, and this one's a real joy to fill in for. So the two finalists that we have tonight in the Steadfast Young Landcare Leadership Award, the future of Landcare, are Talitha Huston and Jason Second. I hope I've got Jason's pronunciation of your surname right there. I didn't check that. And we've got a few slides about some terrific young people. So, as you would have seen by those slides, almost impossible to split those two terrific young people, but it has been decided that Jason Second is the winner of the award. And highly commended to Talitha Huston. Congratulations to you both.
No, you're not.
No, okay.
But you could hold this for Jason, because he's going to have trouble otherwise.
Get whatever you've got to get off your chest, off your chest.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, I don't really have anything to say, but let's see. I guess I don't really do what I do for recognition. I do it for the plants, for nature and the community and everything, but recognition is nice as well, so thank you for that. I guess I'll just say a quick thanks to the team at Circle. Anything that we do is never a one-man job, it's everyone coming together, and not just the team, but also obviously the community and the volunteers, including some of you here today, like you at Forest Crescent and Mick and Bruce, who've all come to my events, and yeah, community Landcare can't be done without the community, so thank you everyone, that's all.
Good on you. Well done. Is Talitha in the room? Yes, a couple of words too, Talitha.
Oh, well, I wasn't expecting to get that certificate, but wow. Well, starting my book when I was 14, I did not expect to be standing up here now, so thanks so much for having me. Well, the whole process has taken so long and so much effort, it feels a bit surreal for it to finally be finished and published and me being up here. But I feel like now is the most rewarding part, you know, greater the struggle, greater the victory. And now I'm starting to see the benefit of my book in the community and seeing all the kids getting inspired and going outside, and even the adults now knowing the birds in their area, because I feel like we get so used to seeing birds around in wildlife, and I feel like as a whole we don't really value the environment as much as we should. So I really hope that my book is really getting people to value the wildlife and the land, and then once they value it they can start to care for it and hopefully make a better future for everybody, because without the land, where are we? But yeah, thanks for having me.
Thanks, Talitha. And Talitha, where can we get your book? That's what I want to know. Online? Got a Facebook page, there you go. Thanks very much to the Honourable Darren West for being up here. Can we just give it a really warm round of congratulations to all of the people who've been finalists. And it's wonderful to have the winners coming up and to speak about their projects. And you totally get that. You're not doing it for the award, but it is good to have recognition. We are now going to take a short break because there's some more delicious offerings from Creative Catering. So if you want to go out there and get some dessert and tea and coffee and then return back, it's just a short break now. And then we'll just have the last couple of awards. So just a 15-minute if we can do that. So we're now going to be having the presentation of the final 2 awards. And after which there's going to be some more music, and we're hoping that there's going to be some moves, dance moves that is. It's always great fun if you take off your shoes. Kick off the shoes, isn't that the saying? Yeah, I just kicked off my shoes. Well, I think it's a really good plan because as the OC Health and Safety Officer for the night, kicking off the shoes, particularly for the women, is probably an excellent idea. Our next award is the Australian Government Individual Landcare Award. It acknowledges the significant contribution made by an individual volunteer who has demonstrated outstanding leadership and commitment to Landcare. And please welcome back Mick Davies from Waln to present 2 awards in this category for a winner and a highly commended.
Okay, so I think everybody knows that the individual Landcare Award is the pinnacle. If you get the individual award, you go into the national award. You could be standing there being the National Individual Landcare Award recipient. So this is big stuff. We received 6 finalists nominations, and we had 3 finalists: Isaac Webb, Margaret Moyer and Walter Smith. Without any further ado, the winner of the Individual Landcare Award is Margaret Moyer.
I've got to be the oldest person in the room, I'm sure. At least I've been pulling weeds longer than everybody else put together. This is extremely unexpected, but is very rewarding for an old weirdo like me. Nobody gives a damn about weeds except people like us, and it's wonderful to be in a room full of people who give a damn. Thank you.
And proud of it. I'm a weirdo. And we're a room full of that. Thank you so much, Margaret. That's wonderful.
Back up there. It is written down. I just We were talking about partnerships earlier, and that's the value of a true partnership, right? Many apologies, because we did have from our judges a highly commended award for the individual Landcare award, and that goes to Isaac Webb. So yep. Yep. Isaac isn't here tonight, so Tony and Walter. Wayne.
As you can see, I haven't got the beard quite right yet, but I'm getting there. This way. Look, Zach apologises. We left him at a meeting in Margaret River. He wasn't expecting this. The same with everyone, it's a team effort. He has carried the knowledge on from his elders, his grandparents. He just wants to transition all the cultural knowledge on. He works over a huge range of areas, from language to coast care. We work with Tangaroa Blue. We do the Wadandi Surf Comp Academy. It's just never ending, and he does work tirelessly. And we're hoping to have the news that there'll be 2 FTE positions with both Bustleton Shire and Margaret River Shire. And our rangers we've managed to get 2 positions with MRBTA, which is Margaret River Bustleton Tourism Association. So it's really about getting outcomes.
And they're just a totally fabulous team. Good on you. The final award of the night is the Australian Community Media Landcare Community Group Award. This award acknowledges an outstanding community group, which you all are. And this award goes to a group that's improving sustainable land use and or is undertaking on-ground action to protect, enhance or restore the natural values of an area on behalf of the wider community. We recognise all of the Landcare Awards are critical, recognising the contribution that community makes to Landcare. Over the state, you might not be aware, but we have around 700 community coast and Landcare groups, and there are more really that we don't know about, and that they are working every day with a whole range of volunteers, and we'd really like to acknowledge all of the volunteer work and the volunteer work that people who are part-time paid also do. Often they're doing it on weekends and nights, and it's all of you and all of those other volunteers, which number in their thousands across Western Australia, who are doing it to tend our environment, our collective environment, for the benefit of all of us and for all of us who have got children, grandchildren and many more to come, hopefully. Just want to say that the WA Landcare Network, along with all of you, will be continuing to advocate For our members, which you all are or can be and are welcome to be, it costs nothing to join. And we want the whole sector, that means all of us and all of our contacts and all of our relatives and all of our friends, we want them all to feel that Landcare speaks for them, because it does. Because Landcare is about all of us and our environment and our communities. If we don't have the land, we don't have survival. And I think that that's been a theme for the whole of the day. I'm delighted to welcome Mel Gill, a senior journalist with Farm Weekly, to the stage to present this award on behalf of Australian community media.
Thank you. I'm not going to speak very long because as a journalist I write better than I talk. Look, Australian community media's premier publication in WA is Farm Weekly. And yesterday's Farm Weekly package that went out had Landcare in Focus, the November edition, which features a lot of the National Landcare Award winners in it. So I've got a couple of editions or a couple of copies on the table there if anyone is interested. But as the name implies, Farm Weekly's readership is predominantly people on the land, farmers, pastoralists, and they're involved daily in Landcare, in their activities in sustainable farming. But ACM and Farm Weekly appreciate that if we want to leave an environment that's maintained or perhaps even improved on what we have now for our grandchildren and their grandchildren, then the onus of Landcare cannot be left simply to the people that are on the land now. It's everyone's responsibility whenever and wherever we can get the opportunity to become involved in Landcare. And with that in mind, we're very, very proud to sponsor the Australian Community Media Landcare Community Group Award. And there were 6 nominations, which is really good, in the Australian Community Media Landcare Community Group Award. And the finalists are 2J Friends of the River, Activate the Wheat Belt, and Kpmg Landcare. And we have some videos of these guys. 24 years, 2J Friends of the River have been dedicated to working with its community to restore the natural ecosystems of the Avon River system and facilitate access to the river. Kpmg Landcare are innovative, passionate, hard-working community landcare leaders finding local solutions to everything from wind erosion, salinity and wetland degradation to funding uncertainty. And they're not on their own there. Activate the Wheat Belt, WA's unique tree planting festival, focuses on rehabilitating land and restoring biodiversity. It incorporates arts, music, Indigenous culture and bridges the urban-rural divide. And the winner is Kpmg Landcare. Congratulations. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thanks. Thank you.
Got a smile there.
Yeah,
you can hold this. Okay, over to you. Yep.
Congratulations. Well done. Okay. You ready?
Oh my.
I'm not sure that we can say anything to top what some of the people have presented today. As we've talked about all day today, you know, what we do as an individual, as what we do as a group, are the same challenges each of you face every day when you go to work, when you try to volunteer, when you just try to make change happen. And we're doing the same as you, right? So what we do and what you do doesn't matter so much individually, it matters collectively. That what we do together, we're stronger that way. And like they say, no one is greater than all of us together. So thank you so much for this honor. I'm really, really surprised. Thank you. Did you want to say something?
Gee, Andrea, I'm not surprised at all. Katanning, like many of the groups, have been plugging away, and I think that that's one of the characteristics, is that we care enough that we just keep persisting. And sometimes the fortunes are not so great, and sometimes they're a bit better, and as soon as there looks like there's a bit more resource or a bit more go or a bit more partnership, they pick themselves up like you all do and get cracking on it while there's the opportunity. So, yeah, I'm not surprised at all. So, friends, it's a huge congratulations to all of the winners and to all of the finalists and to all of you. And a really warm thanks to all of the sponsors who recognise how important this whole effort is in our community. So I just want to thank the sponsor representatives who are here and who've stood up. We really appreciate that. And let's just give them a round of thanks. Uke Nomad, our beautiful musicians, were terrific. And we've eaten really well with Creative Catering. And there's been a huge effort to pull this together. The State Interim Office partnered with the WA Landcare Network. We had all of the judges who put in their volunteer time. We've also had terrific AV support for this event, and I'd really like to recognise Sabian Wild and Thomas Baskerville from Perth NRM. It's been pretty good, really, hasn't it? What really makes it, though, is the fact that you have all nominated groups and individuals, and that you've come tonight to celebrate together, to meet people, and to really recognise that, of course, we're doing this. What else would you want to be doing if you're not repairing communities, land, and yourself at the same time? And we heard a lot about that today. Our health is reliant upon the health of our friends, our communities, and our environment. So everything that you do is good for you.